Well, welcome to my Kingso 22-inch Firepit review. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what you get for your money, and I'm going to show you step by step just how easy it is to assemble the Kingso Firepit, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to test it out with a Firelog and see just how good the thing is or not. But spoiler alert, it's actually pretty easy to assemble and pretty good to use, as it really does thump the heat out.
Well, welcome to my outdoor fire pit review. This is a Kingso 22-inch fire pit, so let's quickly get it out of the box, show you how to put it together, and then test it using that new Java log I've got over on the side. Well, there's obviously going to be some self-assembly required, but let me get it out of the box and see if it comes with any tools, or if not, I'm going to tell you exactly what tools we need to put it together with. Anyway, first of all, let me get this packaging out of the way, set it all out on the floor so we can see exactly what we've got to put together. Well, time to start work assembling the Kingso fire pit. What have we got? We've got our top grill. This grill, I'm assuming our combustible material sits up on, and we've got our four legs over there. What do all these other bits do? Let's read the instructions and find out. And in terms of tools, it does come with a hex key, but I noticed there are various nuts in here, so I've got a pair of mole grips in order to hold those nuts, but a pair of pliers would suffice, I'm guessing. And included in the fixings, we've also got a little ring, which is going to go in the top of here to save you burning your hands picking the grill up. And I would say, if you're in any doubt when assembling anything like this, the first thing to do is go through and get a pen and tick off everything that you've got, making sure there are no parts missing, so you're not halfway through assembly and then find you've got a part missing on here. And just some basic housekeeping instructions before we get started. Check local bylaws before using the fire pit, and as it said, this fire pit is intended for outdoor use only. Do not use this on wooden decks, that is worth noting. And it's only for use in burning wooden logs, not any other material such as plastic, leaves, coal, etc. So I've unpacked my Kingso 22-inch fire pit. Time to show you how to put it all together. The fixings it comes with: this little ring here is going to attach to the top of the grill on here to save you burning your hands when lifting it off. It does come with a tool, which has got this hex driver on one end. I'm not quite sure what that's for. I thought it was for attaching the screws, but indeed the screws are just a conventional screw. But I've got my screwdriver here at the ready, as that's going to make life a lot easier than using that one. I've also got a pair of mole grips here because they've got these bolts on here, and there's nothing included within the kit for holding on to those. Now, getting straight down to it on the instructions, the first thing we've got to do is fit those four legs, so this small ring and then the large ring on top of that. Now, in order to fit that small ring, we're going to take our leg here, and we're going to use, I think, 8 of these bolts in total going through here, and we're going to spin the nut on by hand as far as possible at the back. At this stage, we're not going to tighten all of these bolts, and you will note in the instructions it goes on the outside of the ring, not on the inside. The bolts should go on very easily indeed over the nuts. If they don't, back them off in case they're cross-threaded. Now I'm going to rinse and repeat with the other 4 legs on there. Well, with a couple of minutes work, I have all 8 bolts and nuts in place on there. Loosely tighten them, it says. Do not over tighten them or tighten them fully at this stage. Now, to put that top ring on, you're just going to need another 4 nuts and bolts on it. There is nothing in this job so far, I will say, that one person alone couldn't do. So a single parent can easily assemble this on their own. The ring also, it does go around the outside, not the inside of these, although it keeps wanting to go onto the inside. Let me get one bolt through on one side, and then I'm going to do the other side, and hopefully that should give us some stability. Once again, reach around with the nut from behind and hand tighten it on there. This is a little bit tricky than the other ring. I'm just hand spinning the nut on the back here as tight as we can by hand. And you want to be careful it doesn't go on the inside on there. You want every one of these on the outside, but for the minute I'm going to do the one on the opposite side here. But once again, popping that to the outside, lay that on the floor, pop my bolt through and hand spin the nut on. As I say, no need to over tighten them at this stage. Literally just spinning that nut on from the back there. Now, as I say, be very careful you don't put them on the inside. They do need to go on the outside. So I'm going to do the same with the other two. Now, with all of the bolts in for the upper ring and the lower ring, we're now going to tighten out everything up. What I've done is just push that down a bit, make sure everything's level, take any flex out, and now time to use the screwdriver. Now time to use the screwdriver to tighten up the nuts and bolts. At this stage you are going to need some grips to hold on to the back of the bolts, but a pair of pliers would do. And if you tighten them all up nicely by hand, you're not going to have a lot to do in order to tighten this right up. Okay, well that's the last of the nuts and bolts tightened up on the upper ring. So now time to do exactly the same on the inner ring. We've just got 2 bolts to do on each arm, but once again, if you've done them up nice and tight by hand, it's going to be relatively little work in order to tighten them up. Okay, well that's all the nuts and bolts tightened up on both rings. The next step is to take this little ring, get it through here, spin the nut on the back as far as it will go, and tightening that round by hand. The grips on the back of it, and spin that round by hand to ensure that's nice and tight. That's not going anywhere in a hurry. Now all you've got to do, place the fire bowl inside, take our grill, pop that on there, and our outer grill on the fire pit, and we're ready to test it out. I would think you could probably do this job in under 5 minutes. It can definitely be done by one person, and whilst it comes with this tool, I would strongly recommend getting a pair of mole grips or pliers and a screwdriver. You'll find it a lot easier and faster when it comes to tightening the assembly up. And this set of tongs, well, at the end of the day, when you're done, you can remove the grill out like that, even while it's still hot. So that's what those are for. Not a toasting fork, as my daughter first thought. So, is my Kingso Firepit any good? Well, I've lit my Pine Mountain Java log, which is actually made of recycled coffee, and I've also done a quick review of those Java logs. I'll put a link to them below the video as being made out of recycled coffee beans. They're very green, but most of the point, this thing is absolutely thumping out heat. The grill is stopping any particulate, nothing that seems to be blowing in the air, other than a little bit of smoke from my coffee log, which does provide a very nice aroma of coffee, but not too strong. But overall, I'm very pleased with the design of the Kingso Firepit. Not hearing any creaks, any signs of anything buckling or anything, so it seems to be pretty good with the heat on there, and it is absolutely thumping the heat out from that Java log. If you are moving it, as me and my wife did just a second ago, do not grab it by the top here. Get 2 people and grab this bottom ring here and lift it up together evenly if you are moving it while it is warm or even lit, as we did. But be very, very careful, and I would say do not let your children attempt to move it, but never lift it by this top, because this is going to get red hot. And if you do need to remove the grill at any point to put another log on, clearly that ring is going to burn your hands, but you can remove the whole cover using the prong that it is supplied with if you so need, but don't try and lift that up by hand, whatever you do, for fairly obvious reasons. Anyway, I hope you liked my review and assembly of the Kingso Firepit. If you did, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Well, thumbs up if you like this video, guys. Post any comments you might have in the comment section below the video, and hit the circle below to subscribe. And if you do hit the circle, don't forget to hit the bell.